When I say Lawrence Taylor, what comes to mind?
Fear. Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
You see that quarterback come under center. You know, he has the fear of God in his eyes.
The man was obviously the best defensive player ever.
Best that ever played. I don't know who I could put in front of him.
Lawrence Taylor is the best football player to ever play in the NFL.
Lawrence Taylor was relatively unknown until his junior year at UNC, but 2 years was all he needed to get the attention of NFL scouts.
The New York Giants, first round selection, Lawrence Taylor, linebacker, North Carolina.
It took LT literally about one practice for everybody to know that he was probably the best player on the field.
This cat would go 100 miles per hour. When he's in there in practice and his reps, 100 miles per hour.
Game speed.
Game speed.
His rookie year, we had a scrimmage. They had to take him out after like 10 plays. Couldn't scrimmage. Had to take him out. He was sacking quarterback every play.
We had talked before that about, letting him in the first preseason game not start and watch the first series and all that. But really after one scrimmage, I remember Coach Perkins saying, we got to get him in there. Forget that. He's starting from day one.
When I first came to the NFL, it was like a man playing with boys.
Bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive.
Watch his catch-up speed. Montgomery had a couple of steps on him, and he was able to take 1-2 large steps, and he was right at the sideline with him. He just covers that whole field, sideline to sideline.
Chasing down guys from one end in one side of the football field to the other was new. It was really new for a guy to start a rush, flatten out, and catch the guy before he gained any yards on the other side.
I'll tell you, he's not only fast and quick, but he's strong. Holy man, is that guy strong? You see that?
Got him down with one hand.
One hand, but he took Jacoby with one hand too.
Who weighs over 300 pounds.
He runs like a wide receiver, not 4 or 5 speed, but he's as big and strong as most defensive linemen. He's a rookie player, but he plays like he's been around 5 or 6 years.
There was no doubt as to our selection at NFL Films of our defensive rookie player of the year had to be our guest, Lawrence Taylor.
Giants have gone 18 years without making the playoffs. They draft Taylor, and he turned it all around.
Quarterbacks and running backs are the ones that usually turn franchises around. But our special guest today is an exception. He's a linebacker that turned a longtime loser into a winner. Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants.
I have never, ever in my life seen a rookie like Lawrence Taylor.
LT was so dominant, teams were forced to create new schemes to try and slow him down.
I mean, he just changed the way the game was played. He scared so many offensive coordinators.
So we're up there drawing on the board, and everybody back in the day, they would just put the running back to block the linebacker. And that was out. I mean, running backs were flying into quarterbacks. We were just sitting there watching on film, and so we're like, all right, they got the eraser out, forget that stuff.
He forced teams to use 2 tight ends, keep a back in the chip. He made coaches think of ways that you were going to block him.
Joe Gibbs changed his entire offense. He went and put an H-back to help the left tackle block that young man.
It's hard to block Taylor with the running back, so you got to put a tight end to that side, at least to give him some people to maneuver around.
But he still makes the plays, even though you put a tight end on him, Frank. Look at the way he throws, gets rid of the tight end and comes to the inside and makes the tackle. Made the tight end look like he was a piece of popcorn, didn't he? Fans who watch this kind of a game, they say, why don't they block Taylor? Tampa Bay Buccaneers have tried to block him with the back. That didn't succeed. They tried to block him with a tackle. That didn't work. They tried to block him with a guard, and that didn't work.
2 seasons, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Taylor's talent was self-evident, but he didn't rely on talent alone.
Lawrence Taylor was like that. Lawrence Taylor, he knew what every player on the field was doing.
We always knew what every position was doing. You used to coach that. Bill Parcells used to stress that. We had to know what the corner doing, what the outside backers are doing, what the inside backers are doing, what the nose tackle is doing.
That combination produced arguably the greatest season by a defensive player in NFL history.
One day, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, possibly I could be the best linebacker in the NFL.
Here's a guy that can dominate a game. When he's ready to play, look out.
You can run, but you can't hide. Lawrence Taylor from behind.
This is the kind of pursuit that Elway will run from all day long. No linebacker in the league comes harder and faster after the quarterbacks than Taylor.
China back to throw. Oh, indeed, it's going to be picked off by Lawrence Taylor. And he's got a lot of room to run. Taylor is in the end zone.
He's been a terror, Lawrence Taylor, and leads the NFL in sacks this year.
Taylor became only the second defensive player ever to win the MVP award. He was the foundational piece in the Giants' Super Bowl win that season.
Lawrence Taylor is the type of player that makes everyone around him a lot better.
Many times, a guy like Lawrence Taylor will be picked up by a lineman and doubled, and someone else is going to go in and get the big plays and make the highlight film, but his presence makes it happen.
So they say, well, Taylor really doesn't always get double-teamed. No. Sometimes he gets triple-teamed already. See, there's 1, 2, 3 guys on Lawrence Taylor.
His resume spoke for itself, but he cared little for individual awards. Winning was everything. He proved that in what would be dubbed the pain game.
The thing that made him a great player was his total disregard for his body.
I don't think there's ever been a player who's had any greater tolerance for pain than Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, if you get strapped up like this, you really have to want to go back in. And this man here this is like a gladiator. If we had Julius Caesar sitting up there, he'd probably be applauding this man's effort.
Play action.
Taylor, not gonna lie. Giant football.
Now Taylor just has a ton of speed and swats the ball at Aber's hand, and it's like it's on the ground, and there it is.
Aber under pressure, and he fumbles. Lawrence Taylor caused the fumble the second time he's gotten to Bobby Aber. When you can rush 3 linemen and Lawrence Taylor, it's like rushing 5.5 people.
He has a torn pectoral muscle. He was in so much pain on the sidelines that the players were telling us that tears were coming out of his eyes.
He was so great that night that's one of the few games that I ever saw that I felt that a defensive player won the game. Lawrence Taylor that night won that game.
But while Taylor dominated on the field, off it, his life was spiraling.
You know, I'm just like a kid in the biggest playground in the world, New York City.
Last Monday came the stunning news. Lawrence Taylor had failed an NFL drug test and was suspended for a minimum of 30 days.
The suspension is a crushing blow in many respects, a blow to the team which will lose LT for 4 full games.
I've done some bad things in my life. I'm not a choir boy. Of course, we all know this.
Even as trouble continued to follow him off the field, Taylor returned in 1988, playing like a man possessed.
Here comes Lawrence Taylor, who I believe right now is the best defensive player in the league.
Deep drop, Griffin steps up, loses the football. Taylor knocked it out of his arm.
Just a phenomenal effort by Lawrence Taylor.
You talk about players having a great motor. This guy's got a jet engine. Slaps the ball in the air, watches it go up, carries it into the end zone. Maybe ought to kick the extra point.
Lawrence Taylor just ran through everybody. Lawrence Taylor's blocked right now, but look at Lawrence, just a bold move where he just runs number 66. Rory Graves right back into the quarterback.
What you're seeing greatness.
By 1990, the Giants were chasing their second Lombardi trophy, but one team stood in their way.
They were the team. They were going for their three-peat. They were flashy. They seemed to be the media's choice.
And the Giants were a mere formality. We were coming in to get beat and sent home.
The NFC Championship, the Giants 49ers. A bright, brilliant, sunshiny day in California.
You can't ask for a better championship game than this. We're getting into the area where Montana's at his best. When you get to the end of something, whether it be the end of the half or the end of the game, and they need a drive, there's no one better than the master, and that's Joe Montana.
Here's Montana, long time in the pocket. Got chased out, finally hit from behind. The ball's loose.
And he really took a shot in that back. I think he was trying to get away from Taylor. Remember, Lawrence Taylor was the first guy there. And then in doing so, Leonard Marshall got him from behind.
Oh, God, it was maybe the worst hit I ever saw a quarterback take.
The 49ers lead by a point.
You can't get any tighter than this. If ever you're going to make something happen, the Giant defense may have to be the ones that do it.
Again, it's behind the line of scrimmage, and the Giants have the ball. Lawrence Taylor out of the pack with the ball. That's the first turnover today. And so the Giants take over with 2:36 left to play. And now, with 4 seconds left, the Giants call their last timeout. And it all goes on his shoulders. And the kick is good. There will be no three-peat. The Giants win it 15-13.
That game was close, but Super Bowl 25 would be even closer. With 8 seconds remaining, trailing by 1 point, the Buffalo Bills were a kick away from winning the game.
Now Norwood tries to kick his longest ever on grass, 47 yards. No good. Wide right.
After a second Super Bowl victory, Bill Parcells left on top. And so did Lawrence Taylor.
When Bill Parcells left after the 10th season, I didn't want to hit nobody no more, and I didn't want to be hit. I had retired when Bill left and just didn't tell nobody until 3 years later.
Officially, he retired following the 1993 season. He wouldn't go down as just a Hall of Famer, but also as the greatest defensive player in NFL history. There are few players that can be mentioned in the same breath as LT, but one of them is Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time. You can find out more about his career in this video here.